Rob, back at it again with another probably very cringy video. But I know I'm mostly known, well, not known, not known for my silly, cringy videos, but I'd like to sit down and talk with you about a very serious situation that I am going through right now. So, I am basically homeless. I'm living in a friend of mine's shed right now, and it's very temporary. I have basically no resources. I got my food stamps card, but my food stamps card won't renew for some reason. It's been 2 months since literally the first time the money got deposited into my, or not deposited, but transferred into my card. It's been 2 months since my first payment, I guess, and so I can't buy myself food, so I have to ask people for food, which is very, very annoying to both me and the people that I'm asking for them. And I would like to also inform you of how I got here. My life has been a complete wreck since birth. I was diagnosed with autism at the age of 5. When that happened, my parents treated me a whole lot different than they did before. And not in the good way either. They didn't accommodate me. They did the complete and utter opposite of that, which is, what they did is not even borderline, it's completely 150% abuse, what my parents did. Throughout my life, when I was little, I had an accident on the carpet. My mom, being the wonderful mother she is, proceeded to slap me in the face and pull my hair, push me down. This was 5-year-old me, by the way, and told me to smell it like a dog. And that's forever ingrained into my memory. When I wouldn't turn off my radio at night constantly, I always had my radio on at night listening to some soft, mellow music, because my brain needed something, for some stimuli even to go to sleep. And so, I mean, I've been doing that, since I'd been walking and learned how to press buttons. I'd been turning on my radio and playing the same CD on repeat. Not loud enough for them to hear. My parents, mind you, at the time, lived literally on the opposite side of the house from me. They proceeded to smash my radio. My mom smashed my radio that was gifted to me by my grandpa that died, literally like a week before. And, these were all small things. I mean, very traumatizing, but small things. And, abuse like that happened up until I was 9. My dad got shot. He's alive still. Unfortunate. I mean, he's alive still. And, but I was next to him in a car, driving home from a first buffet. My parents didn't take me there. My great-grandmother did. And my great-grandmother was in the passenger seat, front passenger seat. My little sister was behind my pregnant mother, who was the driver. My pregnant mother was driving in the middle of downtown Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah. Think about today, how bad it is today. It was bad back then, too. And I was sitting in the middle between my father and my little sister. My father was in the passenger seat behind my great-grandmother. My dad was talking to me, cussing at me, which is very, very unlike him, because all of my parents, all two of them, are very right-winged Christian. So, yeah, you know how that goes. Yeah, he got, we heard a loud bang. Dad looked out the side of the window, out on his side of his window, and we heard another loud bang, and Dad shot back to the seat, clutching his the right side of his chest, saying, "I've been shot." And we drove to the hospital, which was luckily, or unluckily for me, around the corner. Can't you see, I love my father? I love him to the very depths of my soul. Man, that sentence was dripping with sarcasm. Yeah, my mom proceeded to drive illegally into the ambulance section of the women's hospital, and bang repeatedly on the door. And, you know, fast forward a couple weeks, saw my dad. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention, I was covered in my own father's blood, in that car. Fun experience, to say the least. That also very deeply scarred me, as one would think. And that, along with the years of neglect and abuse from my father and mother, led me to be admitted into a psychiatric ward in Albuquerque. I was supposed to be there for about 2 months. My parents didn't want me back, so I stayed there for about 6 months. Christmas, Thanksgiving, I stayed in there, didn't really do much. And my parents wouldn't take me, so they had to transfer me to Texas, to San Marcos. It was a lockdown facility there, and it wasn't a psych ward at that point. It was a psych ward mixed with a boys' home, but it was a huge compound, almost like a maximum security prison with extra accommodations like a pool. I mean, it was nice. It would have been nice if they let you out to swim in the summer, but you were just holed up there. And I spent another Christmas and Thanksgiving there. I spent a year and a half at that place, and then they moved me again after I finally spoke up about abuse that happened at that place. This one staff member who would always work overtime, unfortunately, would get us, specifically me, because I was the most autistic out of every one of them every one of the boys in the place. This was 9, I turned 10 at that place. So I was about 10 when I spoke up, but it happened since day one. He was working day one, that he would purposely get us worked up, at the slightest bit of negative emotion, whether it be anger, sadness, resentment, whatever. He would literally not even put us in a hold, like in a hold designated, like, proper hold. He would literally pick us up like it was fucking WWE and slammed me. I wouldn't say us because I didn't see him, but I didn't see him do it to other people, but I was one of them, if not the only one, who he would pick up and slam to the concrete ground. Also, it didn't really help that I had a very nasty roommate who would dig through the trash and piss on the floor and break my stuff. After that, they moved me. After I spoke up about it, they moved me all the way to Spring, Texas. Um, that was fine until I was molested by several of the residents there, several of the boys at that place. And then they somehow, CPS moved me back in with my family. That was round 1 of CPS. Round 2 happened when I came to school with bruises everywhere. I didn't want to talk about it, like, because back then I still respected and had a brainwashed love for my parents, and I was very, very much Christian in a sense. I carry Bible everywhere I go, backpack, suitcase. I'd have it in my hands if I didn't have my backpack, that kind of thing. Anyway, I came to school with the Bible in my hand and bruises everywhere. Didn't tell anybody, but everybody knew that my parents, who had moved with me, I was in New Mexico. I lived in New Mexico up until I was 9. And my parents moved with me and they put up a front of, oh, we're moving with you because we want to be close to you and we want to help you. No, they just wanted to keep tabs on me, to be very controlling and very fucked up parents. Yeah, I got put in another residential treatment center, which I was opposed to be doing, because, frankly, the places that CPS puts you in aren't really better than your house. You know, if you're being abused by your parents or your guardian, or people who are supposed to take care of you, love you, and nurture you. I didn't mention that I was a failed abortion from birth, by the way. I also had so I went in Dallas, Texas. Well, Greenville, Texas, not near Dallas, Fort Worth area. Pretty much like a 20-30 minute drive. You pass the Cowboy Stadium on your way. It looked like a really nice place. It was a great place, except for the fact that they put me in with a roommate who was very sexual, and was deeply engrossed in molesting me, specifically me, because I cannot defend myself for shit. I'm a lover and how to fire, But I didn't defend myself. I was groped. I was exploited. Certain parts of my body were exploited by that one specific guy. And they moved me to the second house. There were 2 different houses on the same property, and they moved me to the other one, but it was too late. I had already spoken up about it. And I went to the hospital, got treated for diseases, which was not fun. I was throwing up bile most of the time that happened. But the one thing that did get me through was the staff member. I don't know if he wants his name out there in the public, so I will not disclose that information, but he was very, very helpful. He was comforting. He shared his own trauma about being in a similar situation with his family member. And he was a grown adult. He had he's a terminal illness. I really hope he has gotten through, and and is in recession. I'm hoping that, and hoping that everything is going well for him. He got me through that, and then they put me, CPS, round 3, by the way, put me in a holding hotel, hospice hotel thing, where an agent from CPS, agents from CPS come and take shifts to watch you at literally a Holiday Inn or wherever. A very fancy hotel. It was nice. Then they put me in Amarillo. Put me all over the state of Texas. Amarillo was actually really nice. I was only there for like 2.5 weeks, but it was a really great place. And the couple that had me there and was taking care of me, I was there first. They had just opened up that house again, and after renovations, that house had been around since the 60s. Amarillo, the place in Amarillo had been around. It started by, I think, either the Baptist church or an Episcopal church, something like that. One of the Christian denominations. Back in the Odark 30 ages. No, I think it was, the 50s. In the 50s, it was 1950 something that they opened up. It was a really great place. I went to the high school there, made friends immediately, which is very surprising for me because I'm awkward. But yeah, they moved me, as I had just gotten acclimated, they moved me back in with my abusive parents. And I had been enduring that for about 2 years, until I said enough was enough, because literally January of this year, my father came in. This was the 9th of January. My father came in demanding to know why I hadn't finished the dishwasher, finished unloading the dishwasher. I had gotten sidetracked because I was also told to wipe the counters, sweep the kitchen, and dust the house, dust the entirety of the house, every room, every orifice, the attic that no one goes in, dusted, spotless. The Swiffer pad thrown away in the trash can, trash taken out. I didn't have to be asked to do that, by the way. So pretty much I did a whole deep clean of the house by myself, and my dad came home from work, and he works as a personal chef, so he's not under high stress much. I mean, but just putting that factor out there, he's not really stressed when he's at work. So when he comes straight from home from work, he's actually pretty relaxed because he loves cooking. But he got pissed off that I got sidetracked and forgot to unload the dishwasher. And so he grabs a wooden cross that says Jesus is Lord and starts beating, literally, trying to beat the hell out of me. Funny joke. With the cross until it broke. The shrapnel hit my guitar, which I had just gotten paid by my own money, hundreds of dollars to get fixed and redone. Put a hole in it. The shrapnel put a hole in it. And also, obviously, put splinters, bruises, scratches all over my body, in places where not a lot of people could see. And so he hits me repeatedly on the side of the head, on the back, on the arms, on the shoulders, across the neck, which I still feel pain in. It's March, and this happened January 9th. And so I kind of got tired of the 17 years of abuse that I've been put through. And like I said before, I'm a lover, not a fighter, so this doesn't really happen. But, you know, and I'm not really strong, but I guess the mixture of adrenaline and years of just taking it and not saying, not doing anything, I punched him once in the temple, right here, in the right temple, and I knocked him to the ground, which is very, very, like, surprising. I didn't have enough time to say, oh wow, I just did that. I had enough time to run out the door for my life, because my father would have killed me if I had stayed in the house. But I couldn't put on my shoes, and I had socks on, very loose socks. It had just rained not too long ago, so it was really soggy. So me having my sopping wet socks running on the pavement, I don't know where to, and I realized, I mean, it's dark, it's wet, I have no shoes, I'm fucked. So I go back to my house, face the risk of me being murdered by my father. I immediately hole up in my room, because that prior to being beaten with the cross until it broke in my room, that area of the house was my safe space. I could hide out there and not be bothered, not be abused, not be hurt by my family. My father knocked on my door about 30-45 minutes later. This was about 7:12, if I remember correctly. And he knocked on my door, said, I need to talk to you about something outside. I was like, okay, well, that's great. Why not in the living room, because no one's here? He's like, just outside. And there was a police officer at the door. As I was walking out the door, and when before the officer came into earshot, my father whispered in my ear, if you don't lie to this cop, I will fucking kill you personally. And I know my father. He's a man of his word. So I made up some stupid ass lie, some Gen Z shit about getting mad at my dad turning off the Wi-Fi or something. I don't even remember. And I punched him, and all that anger about Wi-Fi just kind of came flooding. I just didn't know what came over me. And it took him about an hour, the cop about an hour, to talk to people, photograph the house for some fucking reason, photographing me, my father, my mother, my siblings, my two younger siblings, which they treat like royalty. My family treats like royalty. I'm the only one. I'm the black sheep of the family, obviously. I'm the only one who's neurodivergent. Everyone else is, quote unquote, my father. Quote my father, a normal functioning part of society, which you are not. And therefore deserve nothing but the worst. My mother added in one time. And so I went back at the cop car, trying not to cut myself on these tight-ass handcuffs. They didn't even read me my Miranda rights on the way to the, they didn't even say, are you aware of your Miranda rights? They didn't say that. I'm locked in the car with these goddamn handcuffs, and this cop doesn't read me my Miranda rights. I didn't say anything about it, because, I'm already fucked. What the hell is this point? I know my Miranda rights. but he is legally required to ask me. So anyway, at 8:01 o'clock p.m. on January 9th, I got arrested for assault on a family member. And I spent 11 days in jail. They dropped the family member part because I was adamant about telling everyone that I am not going back to that house no matter what. And since they tried me as an adult, they had no say in saying that your parents are legally required to pick you up because they charged me as an adult. They did not charge me as a juvenile. They put me in an adult holding cell. They put me there for 5 days in a holding cell, no breaks, no nothing, except for when I got my, what's the word? You know, when I had my hearing inside of the jail, there was a judge. He gave me a yellow paper. I signed either a white or a yellow paper, and they gave me a pink copy that had my charge and had my bail, or bond, excuse me, had my bond, which was $500. Yeah, I had no one who could pay that, so I spent the jail, and I spent 11 days in jail, and the court decided, the judge decided they'd give me time served and released me that day. And I had been talking earlier that day with a guy in his 60s, and he was really nice. And that day, in the courthouse, after both of our, the judge said both of us would be released that night, he offered him and his wife to drive me wherever I need to go. And I said, sure. I mean, that sounds great right now. So, yeah, they bought me a Coke on the way, and they dropped me off at the 7-Eleven by my friend's house. After they pulled out, I walked straight to my friend's house, woke him up, and this was at about like 10, 11-ish. I had nowhere else to go. Apparently his grandma thought I was a fugitive because the police officer from Liberty County knocked on the door to see if I was there. I gave people the address because I gave the police the address because I apparently was required to. I doubt it, but sure. They knocked on the door to check on me, and apparently my friend's grandma thought I was on the lam from the law. I was like, no, I just got released from jail and my parents don't love me, so I'm here, my bad, sorry. And so she kicked me out, and so I was living at the park for about 2 weeks until this one kid, there's a group of skater kids that come to the park almost every day, and this one kid, the youngest out of all of them, offered to call his mom, see if he could, let me stay with him. It's like, oh, that sounds great. Anything is better than sleeping at this park in the middle of two cold fronts. This was the second cold front. In the middle of the second cold front is when he spotted me and said, hey, I'm gonna take you home. You're my brother now. And so, yeah, I lived with him for about a month. But I noticed things. First off, his father stepfather, excuse me, was an illegal marijuana grower. It's like, great, that's swell. I'm gonna need to find a place to stay. Other than this weed house. And as I was preparing to do so, these people, there was a whole bunch of drama. A friend of mine that I'd met, she and I were going just for late night walks, and behind our backs, behind my back specifically, they had made a curfew, not law, a curfew rule, without my knowledge. They didn't tell me. They just said, hey, curfew, check in, you can go out afterwards, but just check in. They told me that after they kicked me out of their house, and they still have all of my stuff. They have my social security card, they have my birth certificate, and other legal documents confirming that I am autistic. And I'm pretty sure they're also cashing in my social security checks that I had just signed up for. And they kept stealing my other stuff, not just my checks and my social security number and birth certificate. They also stole my personal belongings, my food that I bought with my own money, food stamps, and a mixture of food stamps and, you know, sympathy money from random people, seeing my disheveled look. I cleaned up now. I'm with another friend who is 112%, well, no, 200% better than the bummy-ass kid that I was staying with before, and his family. And by the way, they had a shit ton of dogs, and they also voluntold me to clean up after them, feed them. I mean, it's the least I could do, obviously. I mean, they did let me sleep in their house, and eat some of their food. But after they started stealing my food that I bought for my money, with my money, so that way I didn't have to eat all of their food, and just stealing, like I had a couple of pocket knives, because, you know, it's very dangerous where I live, in the city where I live in, and stole all of my, all of the protection that is...
Hey Rob, it's Gerard. You got a notification, motherfucker?
And, yeah. So I proceeded to leave. I was stupid, didn't think about getting my social security card or anything, because there was a lot of drama going on. I got overstimulated. I just left everything without thinking, and just went to the park. And I was out with my friend Mariah that day, and that was the day they kicked me out, after the kid lied, saying that I was on hard drugs with them, with my friend, and that we were out of our minds. Know this, I do not smoke, I do not drink, I do not huff anything. I even plug my nose. I hate the smell of Sharpies. I plug my nose at the smell of Sharpies. Like, I never even smelled markers as a kid. And it wasn't the first time I got framed for being on drugs. But it kind of hurt worse, which is very, very disconcerting to say the least, coming from the fact that the first few times that I got accused of using drugs and being framed for using drugs by my parents, and that didn't really hurt because, you know, they chose to distance themselves from me using neglect and abuse. And then, but it hurt because this person took me in. This person made up a two-faced lie about caring for me. Now, just cared about the assets they were trying to help me get, and to use those assets that they actually helped me get to their advantage and stole them right out from under my nose. My only belongings are my shoes, 2 jackets, a sweater, a couple shirts, and a pillow. And of course, the cell phone, my wallet, and a pocket knife that was given to me by another person. And, yeah. I'm living in a shed, one of my friend's sheds. One of my friend's shed. They were very nice enough to give me blankets, air conditioning, and heating, and instruments. I have a piano keyboard next to me. This is amazing. This is like the best thing that's like happened to me in quite a while, actually. So yeah, it's been since January 20th since I got out of jail, so almost 2 months have passed. More than 2 months, equivalent of 2 months have passed since I got out of jail, and all of that shit happened. Yeah. I'm just here to speak the truth and get something out there so that people know that people are terrible sometimes, but also people can be kind and warm and amazing. And just these past 6 weeks have been like a very big emotional roller coaster, and I try to look at the bright side of things, but I know I have shelter. That's great. I know I have food sometimes, and that's great. But it's so difficult from, like, you know, being in a house with family, even though they're abusive, still being in a house with family, to being completely on your own with no warning, no guidance, no help from the people that brought you into this world. You know, I didn't ask to be brought here. And apparently neither did my parents, because, like I said before, I was a failed abortion, and I have autism, and ADHD, and bipolar disorder, and depression, and a whole bunch of other things that are wrong with me, probably because of the abuse that I have been put through. And this is everybody's awareness. If you are here, if you're still watching this video, you are amazing. I'm sorry for pissing you off. I wish you the best. Please wish me the same, because I'm gonna need it. Thank you for listening.